Hey everyone, Brian from Bear Bull Traders here. Wednesday, March 20th in the evening after a rock'em sock'em day on the markets. You can see here what happened. We had the Fed announcement about rate hikes and a balance sheet, and you can see the initial reaction was to the no rate hikes in 2019. Dovish stance was the market just fired higher. And then you can kind of see here, well, start people thinking, well, maybe that's not such a good thing after all. Maybe the Fed's seeing some serious problems coming our way, and then the market sold off. And you can see here, pretty much all the markets did the same thing. So let's deep dive a little bit here. You can see just from these charts, you can see what index fared the best. The technology, Nasdaq, heavily weighted technology uh, index was the one that fared the best, opened flat and basically closed flat on the day. So let's take a look at the individual indexes. You can see here the Dow it's closed down significantly, having trouble at this 26,000 level, getting through it, and just keeps banging its head against there, here, and then rejecting here again. And RSI is turning down. Average volume day. Let's see what the week looks like so far. Kind of see here it's a bit of an indecision candle. Again, rejection from that 26,000 level. The IWM small caps, and they're not doing very well. You see they're struggling at the 200, rejected here again, and now lower again. And RSI dropping below 50 there. It seems like it's small caps are having the most problems here. Let's take a look at it on the weekly. Again, we're starting to maybe look like we might be heading lower or just trading in a range here, up here to down here. So again, NASDAQ just seems to be the one that's standing out. Technology still seems to be doing well. Micron reported after the close. I think they're up after even though they did actually, I thought they'd actually be down because I don't think their report was that great. QQQs on the weekly continuing to go higher. There's your point of really significant resistance at 185 level if we do get there. And the large caps, the SPY 500 again rejected this level and seemed like we have a bit of an indecision day to day. And the weekly, you can say this is just making a doji right now, but we'll have to see how the week closes out on that. The dollar really got smacked because the lack of any interest rate hike, and they sold the dollar down, and so that was a big move lower. And to see here, we're back into an area of what could be resistance or support, I should say. So we'll see where the dollar goes. But the dollar is always interesting because when a dollar drops, commodities rise like gold and oil and stuff like that. So let's take a look at that in a minute. And the VIX came back up here. Volatility coming back a little bit into the market, although it's still extremely low. So what do we got for actives here? Take a look at AVCO. Pretty happy about that one. I would be even happier if I'd have gotten in under 4, but I waited too long and to pull the trigger, so I ended up getting in around 440. Took some off at 540 today. Pretty happy about that. Still hoping it's going to get up to 6 here, and we'll continue to monitor that tomorrow. Coke's just a longer term trade here, just chopping around right now. GGTX, really kind of a disappointing day on that one. It looked like it was going to break out here, and we ended up losing all that ground that we looked like we were going to make up on the day. Let's take a look here at the 3. See, we got a pretty ugly doji there. And so I'm going to be watching that fairly closely tomorrow. I might end up having to take the trade off if it doesn't sort of start resolving to the upside fairly soon. I don't want to take too big a loss on that. So right now we're still in the green, but just barely. 740 was the entry. And let's see what we're watching. It's going to be on watch. Emerging markets. Emerging markets looked like they were going to break out today. I was watching them, but they pulled back with the rest of the market towards the end of the day, and so I didn't pull the trigger on it. But the emerging markets are, you know, typically something that's going to do well when the dollar weakens. So we'll see how that looks tomorrow. If it starts to look like it's going to head higher, might take a position on that. Someone in the day trading room asked me about potential to take NEO for a swing, and I was starting to look at it, and I thought, maybe that's not a bad idea. Um, it has done some pretty significant. You had some pretty significant volume days here. Usually, that's kind of a flush when all the, we want to call them the bag holders, just enough's enough, and people have bought up here just say, okay, I've had enough pain, I'm out of this thing, and and they sell here. Usually, quite often it marks sort of the bottom, and so you could buy it here. 585 is where it is now, but 560, 570 is kind of where it seems to want to hold. So might not be a bad swing trade just to pick up a few shares and just sit on them. Kind of see here we had this indecision doji, and now we seem to be moving up. So yeah, take a look at what Solo did. Solo is another electric car company. Kind of just, although it did kind of sell off a little bit more, but had some news, came out, popped it up. NEO could do the same thing. So I'm gonna maybe watch NEO, maybe take a small position on that, and keep a tight stop at 560, 550. Nugget was one that I did actually pick up a few shares in Nugget today, but I'm watching it to add to it if it can start to move above 21 here, and I'll add to that position. But I got a small position on this now, and I just took it when it started to pop up after the announcement on the Fed. I was mentioning in the day trading room that gold always tends to move one way or another when the Fed speaks, and so you can usually catch a move when they start talking one way or another. Roku's just been a good day trade, actually. I don't know if it's really going anywhere. It sells off during the day. You look for a bottom reversal pattern, like a double bottom, and then you buy it and it goes back up again. It's been pretty dependable. You can kind of see here it's got some tails on each of these dojis. So continue to do that, but I think it's kind of stuck here at 66 as a resistance. UNG is doing nothing. Watching the natural gas to see if it's going to move. And the other one that moved was oil moved today. I think it got up over 60 at one point on a barrel. And you can see here, one way to play it is UWT. Seems to be breaking out here. It's filled this gap. RSI moving up on volume. And yeah, so could be good for a trade up to 20. So we'll see how that plays out in the morning. We'll be watching that. XLE is another way to play. It's the energy sector. Another way to play rising oil prices. Didn't have as good a day because the stock sold off, and this is a stock-based ETF, not the actual oil. Pull back on the utilities. Probably maybe a good place to get an entry here around 57.46 is where it went out. But pick it up, and because it still is, to my eye, still looks like it's in an uptrend. And if there's some concern in the market, utilities will still be in favor. So that's it, everybody. Have a great rest of the evening, and we will see you in the Bear Bull trading room in the morning. If you haven't had a chance, you can check out my swing trade book on Amazon, How to Swing Trade, Brian Pezim. So have a good one, everyone, and we will see you tomorrow.